Understanding genetics is really important for understanding psychiatric disorders. That's what a lot of the research that we do at our institute is about. It's also what a lot of research in psychiatry in general is about. But a new study at our institute is showing that it might actually not be enough to only look at genetics. So Ghalia, a PhD student at our institute, and her new study compared the genetics between people with and without depressive symptoms. But she actually went one step further than that. So in addition to looking at the genetics, she actually also looked at the protein side of things. So a quick refresher on how DNA and proteins are linked. So DNA is transcribed into transcripts like mRNA, which is then translated into proteins. And it's really important to look at this in a bit more detail because of a process called alternative splicing. So like the name kind of suggests, alternative splicing basically means that one gene can give rise to different versions of a protein depending on how it's read. And this is a process that happens to almost all of our human genes, so it's really important to look at and to consider. So in her study, Ghalia did two types of analyses. First, she did a differential expression analysis, which looks at single genes and how they differ between people with and without symptoms. But she also looked at transcripts in this analysis. And then she did a network analysis, which, again, like the name suggests, doesn't look at a single gene, but how it interacts with other genes in a network. And again, here she also included transcripts in her analysis. And the really important finding from her study is that she found differences on the transcript level that didn't exactly map onto differences she found on the DNA, so on the gene level. This means that if she hadn't looked at the transcript level, she would have missed these differences and would have missed this nuance in the difference of biology between people with and without psychiatric disorders. So this tells us that in order to fully understand the biology behind psychiatric disorders, it's important that we don't just look at genetics, but that we also look at things like transcripts and eventually proteins. And we hope that understanding this whole process better will eventually help us to understand psychiatric disorders better and treat them better as well.